Well, I'm sure you've all seen Matt's vlog where he left the ranch in my old red F-250 Ford pickup truck, commenting that I would never see it again. Well, he made two mistakes. One, he left the Raptor, and two, he left the key. My dear old daddy taught me two things. When life gives you lemons, make lemonade. When life gives you lemonade, drink it. Well, good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to Out on the Ranch. I'm Dr. Lee, and it is another beautiful day in South Texas. It's been raining on and off, cloudy and drizzly for a couple of weeks, but today it's trying to clear up a little bit. It's about 68, 70 degrees, somewhere in there. Nice little breeze blowing out of the south. The sun is trying to finally break through the clouds. I always try to keep a good attitude during these dark, dismal days. We Texans aren't used to being without our sunlight very long, and we kind of get a little cabin fever after a couple of days. And I always try to remember what Uncle Floyd says. And you know, you have to remember Uncle Floyd has lived through a lot of droughts in his life. So anytime there's days where it's raining like this for periods of time, for days at a time, and people are moaning and groaning and complaining about it, he'll always say, go ahead, let it rain, we will drink it later. So, words of optimism from Uncle Floyd. Well, guys, we've been really busy lately. I've been trying to get some videos out. I got a lot of footage shot, but I haven't had the time to edit it and get it into video, so I wanted to get something done today. So this is going to kind of be another one of Dr. Lee's crazy haphazard videos. It's got a little bit of everything in it, and basically what I'm going to do today is just put a bunch of clips on here I've taken from the ranch. But like I said, we've been real busy. I spent one day with Matt and Meredith and some of our friends building, framing out a dark room for them in their warehouse for their new t-shirt machine. And we had a lot of fun doing that, and we had a lot of help from guys like this right here.
Make a tea.
You made a tea? You sure did. What'd you make a while ago?
Did I do it right on the crack?
Was it a B or a C?
L.
L.
A.
H. You made an H, remember?
A.
You made an A too?
Oh yeah, this thing's totally so
Good. But also in one day, I had the fortune of my water well pressure pump going out. I had a hot water heater start leaking and flood a closet. And on top of that, we heard some spraying noises from under the house. And lo and behold, there was a copper line that had ruptured under the house too. So that was an exciting day. Actually, I created, by fixing one problem, I created two, and that is when I fixed the pressure pump, I got about an extra 10 pounds of pressure, and my water heater had already been leaking just a little bit, and that caused it to have a really good water leak. And then the line under the house was an old line that was improperly repaired about 30 years ago, and it finally gave way. So I'm fortunate that it lasted this long. But those are all for another video. I told one of my kids one time that we go to college so we don't have to do things like this. And he said, well, Dad, why you went to college, why are we doing it? Well, there went that idea. And also one other thing that I'm going to put in on another video. We had a terrible disaster. One little doe jumped over the chain link fence in our backyard and got, they have cloven hooves. They have two little toes on each hoof, and one of those toes went up under at the very, it's hard to explain, at the very top of the chain link fence. You know how it comes up to a point and then it's twisted on top of that. This poor little doe jumped over and one of her back legs went right through it like that, and she fell on the other side of the fence and could not get free. And they stress out and die really, really quickly, and she died in our backyard. But anyway, like I said, that's for another video. It's a really, really tragic way to die. I really felt sorry for her. We see those quite a bit out here on the ranch. I probably, in the last 30 years, seen maybe 10 deer that got hung up in the fence that same exact way. And this is the first one on chain link. Most of them, we've got bull wire out here, and they'll jump and they'll not see the top strand, and their bottom legs will go under that top strand, and then when they get to the other side, it just twists them around and just immediately ensnares them. And we've seen terrible situations where they got hung up, and before they died, the hogs got to them and killed them. So just, it's really a sad thing. But that's Mother Nature, and that's wildlife, and it's part of the deal. It's just kind of hard to stomach sometimes. But nevertheless, guys, I'm glad you're here today. I would like to tell you thank you on behalf of the band for the way you received our last 2 traveling band videos. Those were pretty goofy. They were very unplanned and off the cuff, and it was pretty obvious. And I was telling somebody, I started to edit out all the clams, but then I just thought, we're human. You guys know we're human. I'm just going to leave them in there and let y'all see just exactly how goofy we really are. So I hope I hope you enjoyed that. We had a lot of fun making it. But anyway, y'all gave us a lot of really kind comments, especially on Corey's voice. And yes, she does sing like an angel, and she's like I said in a lot of the comments, she's a wonderful vocalist and an even better friend. All those people you saw in the car on those band videos are basically 3 of my best friends I've ever had in my entire life. So we've been doing this for a long time. And no, we do not play out much, maybe 1 or 2 gigs a year. And no, we don't have anything on CDs. We kind of do it for fun and for therapy. And we get together once a week, and a lot of times we'll talk 30-45 minutes before we ever hit a note or sing a song, and it's just because we're good friends, and sometimes we just need to talk things out. So it's always good to have friends, and I've got 3 of the best right there. One other thing I need to get to right quick before we get into this video is on the last video, on the Lukenbach video, I asked you guys to look for an Easter egg in there, which was a misspelling that I did not commit. And granted, there were 2 editorial misspellings that I overlooked in there, but the one that I was talking about that I did not do was the Lukenbach squirrel in Lukenbach. Hanging over the bar there, here's a picture of the Lukenbach squirrel. They misspelled Lukenbach, and I thought that was rather glaring. But anyway, I asked you guys to find it, and the first one that did, I would give you a shout out on this particular video. So the shout out, here it comes, to All Blacks NZ, and I don't know if you're from New Zealand or what. Is rather an unusual avatar name, but nevertheless, good eye. You were quick, you caught it quickly, and you got on and posted before anybody else. So congratulations, All Blacks NZ. Glad to have you along, especially if you're from New Zealand. And yes, I did sell my red Ford F-250 truck. It was a truck that I bought new back in 2006 and had been around here for a long time, did a lot of work, was a great truck. But Rob from Lunkers TV was out here one day, and he came up to me and he said, if you ever want to sell that truck, let me know. I really want to buy it. And I said, okay. And I got to thinking about that later, and I thought, I am not using that truck at all. So it was kind of a spare. The only time I used it was to put feed in the deer feeders, only because it was so tall I could climb up on top of it and put the feed in the feeders quite easily. So anyway, Rob really wanted it, so I sold it to him. So anyway, that's the end of that story. A lot of you guys asked me about it because Rob brought it up on his channel and Matt brought it up on his channel as well. So anyway, Big Red is gone, and he's getting a total facelift and makeover up in Dallas and Fort Worth. So it'll be interesting. I'll get some, I talked with Rob today, and he said he's redoing everything on it. So be interesting to see what happens to the old truck. This good truck to start with, and he's going to make it even better. So there you go. Well, guys, what's been going on out here on the ranch? I told you we've been real busy with human stuff, but I've been looking for the three-legged deer on the game cameras at night, and I've not seen him at all. So I don't have good feelings about that at all. But you know, hopefully he went on to some other ranch. But more than likely, that's not the case because this ranch right here is pretty much the haven for deer compared to all the other areas that are around here. So, but anyway, we will keep watching for him. One thing I noticed while I was watching for our old three-legged buddy is the does are starting to get a little bit of a belly on them. Most of them look like they're pregnant, and we should be seeing some babies here probably in another 6 weeks. It's usually around tax time, April 15th. That the blue bonnets start to pop out around here, the Indian paintbrushes, and the little baby white-tailed deer. So I've got some more game cameras out this year, more than I've ever had before, and I'm really going to try to get a lot of videos of those babies. The whitetail's gestation is about 200 days, give or take 5-10 days, either way there. And on their first pregnancy, they usually only have one little fawn, and after that, on the subsequent pregnancies, it's very common for them to have twins. So we get a lot of babies around here. So it'll be really exciting this year to see them coming out. The breeding period is usually from October through December. So you know, usually you don't see them any earlier than April, and you can see them out to June, you know, as tiny babies. So we'll be watching for them, and I'll try to get a lot of videos of them and get some up on YouTube, because they're so cute when they're little. And once again, despite the number of the predators that we see around here, coyotes especially, all the small animals, the little bitty guys, are doing good. The possums are doing well. We see little armadillos, rabbits, foxes, raccoons, and squirrels and all, but see old Bob a lot. You'll remember we had a video on you know, name that wild beast, and we all thought it was wombats and chupacabras and everything else, when it was just a raccoon with an abbreviated tail, and I've just nicknamed him Bob. And I put a game camera, I figured out where he lived, and I put a game camera down there where he was, and I mean, I can catch him almost every night, back and forth. He is a busy little raccoon. He does not go anywhere very fast at all. He's got obviously some spinal problem too, but it's obviously not bothering him too much. He's a chubby little raccoon, so obviously he's eating very well. But anyway, that's old Bob for us. The coyotes, on the other hand, we still have great numbers of coyotes, but boy, they're getting beat up. We've got 2 or 3 of them that we see commonly that have so much mange they don't have hardly any hair on them. We've got one that looks like he's got parvo. He's real skinny and not doing well. And we've got another one that's got a smashed right foot. I've got 2 videos of him, but his right front foot, it looks like it's been smashed. I don't know if it's smashed or not, but it's definitely got something wrong. It's much thicker than the rest of his feet, and he can't use it. So I've got a couple of videos of him too. But anyway, their numbers are good. I wish they could look like this coyote right here, but man, they don't. They're a motley crew right now. And that, my friends, brings us to our newest visitors. We've got 2 big ladies that have recently come onto the ranch, and they brought all their children with them. And I'm not exactly sure how this is going to turn out. They're mighty cute, and they're a lot of fun to watch, but they turn into bulldozers as they mature. So I'll watch them for a little bit, and as long as they're not destroying too much of the natural habitat around here, I'll just let them be. But you know, sometimes we have to intervene a little bit. This particular ranch is slated by the state as a wildlife sanctuary, and the hogs can come in and they can make it uninhabitable for the native species. And it is the native species, not only of animals but also of plants and foliage, that we have to protect here, basically by law, because that's what I've signed on to do, is take care of all the indigenous species, all the native species of plants and animals. And those hogs are not considered native animals. So we'll see what happens with them. I'll keep the cameras going, and I'll give you a little heads up on the story about the deer with the broken foot that died. Basically, when they do that, I put their bodies in the tractor and I carry them off, and I just dump them. You know, I can't dig a hole. I don't have a backhoe or anything like that to dig a hole. I just have a bucket on the front of a tractor, so I put them in there, and I usually just take them out somewhere. And you know, it sounds crude and it sounds unappreciative, but you know, that's Mother Nature's way of feeding animals. That's what buzzards eat, that's what hogs eat, that's what coyotes eat. You know, they'll all eat that. So what I did, and I hope you guys don't hold this against me, but I took that body and I need to know how many pigs I've got here. So I took that body and I put it down in an area where the pigs usually congregate, and I put 5 or 6 game cameras. It's in a little opening, and I put 5 or 6 game cameras all facing the opening. So within a short amount of time, we should know what's going on pig-wise, and other predators as well, because they'll come in, and you know, I mean, that's their dinner. So we'll see just exactly what we have. And again, I hope you don't hold that against me, because it was going to happen anyway, just in a different place. I'm just taking advantage of it for an opportunity to get a video, so that I will know what's down there, and I'll know how to best protect the indigenous species of animals that are here. So there you go. But nevertheless, we got piggies all over the place, and they are cute. The little babies, and the mamas are ugly. And also, one other thing I'd like for you to see is this little guy right here. If you'll notice, he looks like the pigs, kinda. And by kinda, what I mean is, if you'll notice, he's got an angled white stripe around him. This one's called a collared peccary, and it's very unusual to see them up in this neck of the woods. They're very common in South Texas, but this is a javelina. That's what we call them around here, is javelina. Scientific name is collared peccary. But anyway, cool looking little dude. He's really in good shape too, and he's huge. We usually don't see them anywhere near as big as this one is. But anyway, I thought you might enjoy seeing that. And those game cameras working late at night commonly catch the ultimate predator that roams the ranch late at night, looking for God only knows what, with 3rd generation night vision and an AR-15. And I made him start carrying that AR-15 because of the mama hogs and the babies, because he usually just goes out with just the night vision and just watches everything. But I said, you take a rifle with you, because those mamas and those little babies that spells trouble, and those mama hogs will attack you, and boy, they'll hurt you too. So, but anyway, but anyway, Drew's been out with his night vision, and it looks like he was hunting foxes, because he came back with one. And last but not least, I thought these last few clips were kind of humorous. And in this first clip, the skunk just kind of walks through the scene as if nobody else is around. This is my ranch. You give me any trouble, you're going to pay for it. I thought he was kind of cute. And then in this next shot, watch this little fox. He is tormenting this doe to no end, and she's over there just, you know, huffy and stomping her feet a little bit, and this fox is like, catch me if you can. You can't. And so he makes a couple of circles out there, and ultimately comes back around and chases the doe off. I thought that was really hilarious. And then one other one we have is 2 little foxes together, and I had to crank the sound up really loud so that you could hear them. They're talking to each other at first, and then they just take off running and disappear. But anyway, I thought you'd enjoy seeing those. Well, guys, that's about it from out here on the ranch with Dr. Lee. I would like to tell you that Uncle Floyd is doing very well. He had his blood work checked this week, and it's as good as it usually gets. And it's not great, but it's keeping him alive. People like you and me, if we had blood counts like his, we would die. But Uncle Floyd's body has acclimated to these low counts over the years, and he gets around just fine. Rides his little scooter clear across town to Walmart and comes back and does anything he wants to do. Mows his yard. I mean, you guys know that. But anyway, you always ask me about him. He is doing great, and I need to get some more video on him. I talked with him yesterday, and he's just chipper and just as bright and sharp as he could be. He did make the comment yesterday. He said, "Do you realize that in a few months I'll be 104?" Yeah, coming in July. So, yep. So anyway, quite an amazing guy. Also, Bud is doing well. I guess I shouldn't say that. Bud's not doing that great. He's gosh, how do I say it? He's not painful, but I think he's getting to a point where he's not really enjoying a lot of his days. I think he's got a little bit of dementia, and but he's still eating well. I'm about 100 yards from the big house right now, and he walked out here looking for me, and he can usually find me. He didn't find me today, but you know, he got up and walked 100 yards from the house. So, but nevertheless, for 15 and a half years old, you know, he's doing pretty good too. Well, once again, guys, I thank you for stopping by on Out on the Ranch today. You know, I always appreciate you guys dropping in here to say hi. I appreciate the kind comments you leave, and I really appreciate the kindness you show one another on this channel. So anyway, I hope you're doing well. I hope life's going good for you, and I look forward to seeing you next time. Always remember, I love you, and we will see you later. Bye-bye now. So what you doing there, Al?
Neutering a dog, Dad.
All right. Who's gonna learn you?
That's a mistake.